Hi, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Roofing Contractors Best of Success podcast show. I'm RC Editor-in-Chief Art Eisner, and I'm really happy to be joined today by special guest Piers Dormeyer with Eagleview. Piers, how are you? It's great to have you back on the podcast.
Art, always great to be on the podcast with you. Big fan of what you guys do. So thanks for having me.
Thank you. It's been a few months since you've been on, and with a company that kind of likes to work at warp speed like Eagleview, I know that you've been very busy. Yeah, no doubt. Tell us what you've been up to. What is most exciting about what's happening at Eagleview now?
Well, we have just a huge amount of priorities and roadmap this year. Lots of new things hitting, especially in the roofing industry for 26. And last year, we announced and we released our platform Eagleview One, and I promised that we'd be adding lots of new features and new capabilities to that, and that's what we continue to do. So our most recent release has been the 3D visualizations within the platform itself across both the residential as well as the commercial properties. And what that does is it essentially takes all of that high resolution imagery that we build those roof reports that everybody knows and loves. But we actually can then, without ever having to go to the job and take photos, we can actually turn that into a 3D model that actually takes the exterior as well. So you're seeing the environment around the home. It's not a home just in space. And then you can start to move that around. You can start to get more information about the property itself. So, how are you going to plan on attacking that project? Where are you going to put the dumpster? Where are you going to put the ladders, safety equipment, all of those types of things? And then it has some new features as well that something that our contractors have been asking for years, which is there a way that I can just take the information that I need and not have to sift through all of the measurements, right? So maybe we're just interested in doing one elevation of a home or one facet of a roof for a repair. So you can just extract what you need and then build your own kind of custom report if you want to, and then certainly share that around your business to all the different functions in your company that might need that.
Right. So more customizable and
Sure.
I guess or more accurate reporting, which is what you guys are all about.
Right. And then we also released a bunch of kind of non-measurement data. So we're showing material type and roof age and condition, and all of these things are now part of the platform as well.
I think one of the things that stood out to me, you're encompassing the entire exterior now with this 3D visualization. So,
Mhm.
roofers who are expanding their service offerings to gutters, windows, and other factors. How much of that was built in based off of what you were hearing from contractors, more about what they needed?
Right. So there's a tremendous amount of, and this kind of goes with the consolidation of the industry at large, right? There's so much more that contractors are finding way to do that they can grow their business. So I mean, there's a lot of siding and roofing that's come together, gutters. Doors, remodeling, general exterior work has certainly become the part of the bag, if you will, of a lot of our customers. So we just wanted to be able to give them access to that data also within the same platform. Eagleview One, the idea is that one place to get absolutely everything that you need, and then we'll continue to again layer on more and more and more on top of that offering. But some windows and doors and wall area material type, that's been something that our customers been asking for a long time.
And this is another area where you're leading in AI development in this industry, right? Can you talk about that and the impact that's had on your business?
So there's a keynote that I go out and I give from time to time, which is it's called the AI Frontline, and essentially I'm making the point that AI is so big particularly the latest in AI, the generative AI, the stuff that you can leverage using ChatGPT and Anthropic and Gemini. It's going to be so transformational that if you're not on the front line and you're not using those tools every day in your business, somebody else is, and they're automating these tasks and they're figuring out how to better address the market in a much more efficient and effective way. And where we found ourselves in that is we can unlock a lot of those a lot of those we can unlock a lot of that value for our customers by getting the highest quality data that ultimately feeds those models. The higher the resolution the image, the better the quality of the image, the better kind of intelligence you're going to be able to extract from it. You're going to get better measurements. You're going to get much better AI generated information like condition of a roof, for example, or roof age, or any of those things. The better the data going in, the better the output coming out. And conversely, garbage in, also garbage out. So we're spending just a lot of calories trying to figure out how can we go take what we have, put it into some of these tools, and then present that to our customers. So I don't want to foreshadow too much, but you're going to see another real large offering in the next coming weeks where we'll be unlocking quite a few very innovative capabilities in the same platform.
Okay. Well, no doubt AI is making an impact in the industry. I mean, we just reported that I think the use rate is up to about 38%. So, more than a third of contractors are now using AI in impactful ways when it was just in the low teens just a year or a year and a half ago. So, we're seeing a lot of that integration. I guess it might be reassuring to contractors if they're not using AI directly or finding those ways. If they're using Eagleview or Eagleview One, they're using it, aren't they?
Yeah, they are, and it's across all. I mean, it's not just with kind of what we do in imagery and data analytics. It's also across just about every function of the business. Routing, scheduling, paying bills, marketing. All of these things are areas I think that people can just get a whole lot more efficient, make their dollar stretch a lot further, which is on the minds of everybody right now, particularly when we have years where there's less demand, or we just have all of this macroeconomic uncertainty, associated with interest rates and wars and you name it. It's a crazy time. So I think everybody needs every bit of help they can get.
Right, every bit of stability, so to speak.
Yeah, yeah.
The timing of this is obviously important. We're coming up on what's typically storm season. We've already seen some impactful extreme weather events around the country. Talk about how some of these latest tools are really going to help contractors in the storm scenario, what they'll face in the next couple of months.
We can't control the weather, right? We can just respond to it. But when you start taking all of that meteorological data, all of that, and frankly, material science data, and then you can combine that with geospatial data, mapping data, and then the AI to tie it all together, man, it makes it so much easier than the old days of being able to just look at a hail swath, understand, validate it, verify it, and then be able to deploy into that area. You're not just blindly picking neighborhoods and door knocking them like the old days.
Right. And I guess what are your teams or people saying about this year's forecast in particular?
I'm not in the business of calling the ball on that. My crystal ball is quite cloudy, and it's been wrong a lot. So we're looking at the data that's coming from the experts, like the guys I mentioned a minute ago, and we're looking at it. We're looking at it every single day and trying to get ahead of it. But I will tell you that one thing that we are investing heavily in is just immediate disaster response and really operationalizing our fleet after there's been a major event, right? And that's we're tongue tied here today. Mark, you just make me nervous. we're currently capturing those floods that hit Hawaii real hard, and standing by on, and before that in Washington. But the same way, we were involved in the tornadoes that were in Oklahoma. And as soon as that disaster strikes, or that severe weather strikes, we're in the area with our airplanes, we're capturing it, and we're getting the highest quality data so that we can, ultimately give that to the folks that are out there trying to take care of their customers.
Right. So you guys are ready. You're ready to mobilize and get out there, is what you're saying.
Yeah, we actually took a subset of our fleet. We actually invested in a set of handful of airplanes that are Raptor tails that are just standing by, just specifically for any kind of severe weather event. So we're doing our typical capture missions, but we have dedicated resources now that as soon as something happens, we're in theater, and we're getting those birds in the sky.
Well, the experts did predict, or at least they released their severe weather, forecast for hurricane season. Said they expect a dozen or so named storms. They had similar predictions last year, but that didn't actually, turn out.
Yeah.
Here you are providing all these great tools for contractors that might have been shelved a little bit, or not fully utilized last year because of the storm activity. Can you talk a little bit about that, and how exciting it may be? Although nobody wants storms, it'll be a way to really kind of test a lot of these tools.
Yeah, I mean, we never like to see people get hurt and all this property damage, but that's really when we can really come alive, and when you can get a lot of that value in data. It's when we feel like that's really when we go to work, is when people need us the most. So going from the disaster response to building these tools, ultimately having more data ready and being able to deliver that even faster, and then ultimately providing some of these tools like we're talking about to help you not just get measurements on a roof, but also target the areas that you need to, ultimately those markets you need to address. I mean, we even have tools now that can help you determine where you might want to put a new location, for example. And then take you all the way down through the process of integrating with all of our insurance partners, and helping you kind of navigate the entire process end to end. So yeah, I think we'll get a lot more wear and tear on our system, and I think we're going to learn a lot. But I think folks are going to be quite surprised with all of the things that we're putting out in the market this year.
Well, it sounds like you guys are addressing two of the chief concerns that contractors have: their efficiency and their safety. Now, how any concerns about how quickly they can integrate some of this stuff into their processes, or have contractors evolved? Are they getting on with this much quicker than before?
It's yeah, and they are. It's actually crazy. This is one of the areas where we've seen just so much improvement, and not just with us, but across the technology space, and just creating the tools that are out there that make it so much easier for you to be able to plug in and integrate, and also all of the CRMs that are out there, and all of these other workflow tools are investing in the technology, and to make it much easier to plug in data sets like Eagleview and into their workflow. And we're continuing to invest in that side too. So we have our own developer portal. So if you're a contractor, or you've just got a 17-year-old at home that's a bit of a tech geek, they can log in, they can get their own access to credentials. We give them access to the APIs and the SDKs and the model context protocol services, so they can go and get all of the credentials they need to just start testing and plugging that into their own apps. So we're seeing a real explosion in contractors in particular, just saying, hey, I'm going to build my own application for this thing. And I can do a bunch of it using Claude. And then I can just come in here and plug Eagleview directly into that workflow. It's just so much easier than it used to be in the past. And then we've gone and invested in people that can actually help with that as well. So you just give us a call, we'll plug you into the right people, and we can walk you through how to connect the circuits, so to speak.
Okay. Well, you touched on it a little bit earlier. If there's anything you can say about what you're working on next and how that might fit into the contractor's tech stack, anything to add?
Well, I'll get strangled to death by my CMO if I give away too much. But I'll just say we have a big release coming out in just a few weeks, and that'll be all part of our Eagleview One platform as well. But we touched on a bunch of these things already, so you're going to see a lot more access to data in a really user friendly, usable way that I think is going to push Eagleview far beyond the measurements and estimate side of the business and much more into the marketing operational context. You'll be able to use us a lot more broadly within your business. But we're super excited. Stay tuned. You'll get a first look, Art. But we're all real fired up here.
Awesome. Well, we appreciate that. I appreciate the insight and great conversation. And congratulations on all the excitement. Where can contractors find out more?
So eagleview.com is a great place to find us. You can go online and reach out to us that way, and we'll get back to you lickety splits and give you a demo. We're everywhere as well. Eagleview people are like roaches. You just turn the lights on and we're scurrying everywhere. Myself is included. So we can be found all over LinkedIn, all over social media. Reach out to us. Anybody would be thrilled to help.
All right. Thank you, Piers. And before you head out there, while you're still on roofingcontractor.com, please be sure to sign up for our free e-newsletters so you can stay on top of the latest news and information impacting the industry. Thanks again, Piers. Thanks to all of you for joining us. Stay safe. We'll see you next time.